I've just gone to bed 2 hours ago, honestly.
Hey, welcome everybody. We are about to embark on a journey here. This is the first ever Bonk Trilogy relay race. We're going to be playing one game apiece per runner, and then we're going to be handing it off to the next runner on our team. So we're going to have two teams. We have Team Sally Slug and Team Gary Keith. And so the runners today are myself, Uberdisko, LattMackey, Lisa Lise, and Infinite Mystery. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand it off to Uberdisko to introduce himself and say hi.
Hello, I'm Uberdisko. You guys might know me from before at attempting a little greed grab at the end there of Psychosis. But I run Bonk's Adventure also, so hopefully this goes a little bit better.
How about Memory next?
Hello, I'm Memory. I don't speedrun the games, but I have every Bonk game you're about to see. So I know just a little bit about this series.
Just a bit. How about Lisa next?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm new to the Bonk scene. Just a few months ago, started running Bonk's Revenge. Started watching a bunch of the Bonk streams, and I was like, I should probably learn. So, yeah, this is my first time in the Bonk marathon. I mean, this is the first one, but yeah.
And the current world record holder, really getting some awesome times lately. And LattMackey, you want to say hi again?
Hello for the 18th time, but I will use this time to just give a quick shout out to greatjohn. greatjohn has basically been the organizer of this whole thing, and I'm not sure it would be as close and everything organized as well as it had been if it weren't for greatjohn. So greatjohn, thank you so much for organizing this whole thing.
Aw, thanks. All right, we've got one more runner, Infinite Mystery. You want to say hi?
Hello everyone. Hope everybody's been enjoying this great Turbofest marathon so far. I'm kind of sad it's coming to an end, but I'm running Bonk 3 for Bonk 3's Big Adventure. And earlier was playing Dragon Egg and Riot Zone.
Some really fun games. I think I actually caught both of those. Yeah. All right.
And just a quick shout out to Princess Za is in the chat. Another Bonk's adventure runner, recent world record holder multiple times. So hello to Za out there too.
Yeah, I think we're just about ready to get ready here. Uber, you want to get yourself set up on the main screen and we can have a countdown?
Right there.
All right. You ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Good luck, everybody. Okay, there we go. We're off. So, Memory, as she mentioned, has cast all of these games, and a lot of what we know today is thanks to Memory and her work figuring out. So what are we looking at right away in the first level here, Memory?
Right, so first off, you're going to see, you'll see Uber apparently going for the task strategy of, bouncing off the very first flower you see. Bounce it, hit it, head-butting a flower will set you to speed 7, which is the highest you can get outside the ice stage. And through repeated spinning through the air, one can keep that speed until they hit the ground. Additionally, with bouncing off enemies and damage boosting, one can also just stay in the air longer.
Bonk's Adventure is a fairly decent casual playthrough, our first playthrough experience. The speed strats are really super interesting in this game, and they probably make it the most interesting speedrun of any of the Bonk games because of all these different things that are happening. You're seeing a lot of spinning and spring boosting and spring bouncing. There's going to be some more stuff coming up next a little later on in the run. But the idea here, as Memory is already mentioned, is that you want to keep your momentum going as you're spinning through these stages because you spin faster when you have some momentum back behind it.
Essentially, earlier in the previous level, you saw them pick up a meat. A big meat will set, a small meat will advance Bonk 1 stage, Big Meat will advance up 2, and temporarily gives him invincibility, and the invincibility also comes with increased speed. And here they're doing a trick to skip the lower path of this level and just clip through the top.
This is known as the Uber skip. Yeah, there you go, John. You beat me to it. The Uber skip. We kind of knew that something like that was available, but Uber was kind of like, is that faster? And so we timed it out, and the task, Memory's task actually does a really great, you can actually speed through the water coming out of that. So she doesn't need to actually, you know, if you do a task, you don't quite need to do some of those things. But as far as a RTA, it's really quite great.
The lower path is much more difficult.
Yes, so true.
It has obstacles. The upper path is a straight line. Alright, but here's the first boss, and one thing has two methods of attacking. One is attacking from above, like they're doing. The other is attacking from below. Attacking from below, and just jumping straight up does half damage. So they're going to be attacking every boss from above. And dive bombing it.
This is one of the characteristics of all the Bonk games. You'll notice that there are these really awesome, big, large boss sprites that happen here at the end of every level. And Huey, you'll see Huey again, actually, in Bonk 3. Huey's going to make a return in later
We'll
games.
see him again later in this game.
That's right, yeah, you'll see him again in this game.
Here's start of round 2.
Similar type of approach you'll see from both the runners here, and that's you want to get, there's some spring boosting coming up, and it's the levels are somewhat routed around where you pick up meat because of the speed increase and the way that you can build some of your momentum. So we're going to see him spring boosting, at least try to spring boosting. You can't, is it randomness? How did you describe the spring boosting? You can't always hit a spring boost, Memory.
So it's really, really weird. It's really, you can only hit it every other frame. I don't know why, but the hitbox just doesn't exist every other frame or something. I don't know. So if you miss it, you're just getting really unlucky, and just happen to hit it the wrong frame.
You can often get caught in a trap where you're just constantly swinging and nothing is happening, and it's very frustrating.
If you watch, the people who are currently running the game, like Princess Za and others, you'll see that they reset quite a bit in the first level because, if you spend 3 seconds, you're costing yourself 3 seconds in a run. Might as well just reset at that point and do it over.
So there, Uber just got, judging which way, but, they attacked a purple enemy. That is a guaranteed big meat. If you're at high enough health. If you're at low health, it'll give a big heart, which will fully restore health, but you really want the meat for the extra speed.
Yeah, fun fact about that part is if you kind of go through that section too fast, you'll get the little meat and it'll expire basically right when you need to get a meat.
Perfect.
So don't go too fast there.
Go ahead.
This room is really laggy. For the most part, this game doesn't have too much lag, but this room in particular is very laggy.
You've seen John do it a couple of times now where he's used his teeth to climb up a ledge or whatever, and most ledges can be climbed up like that in this game. If you're playing on an original console, you actually have to flip your turbo switch on to actually do that because you don't want to jump with turbo for the most part in this game. If you're playing this on virtual console or some other, you can actually just map the turbo button to one of the buttons, which is a lot easier. But if you watch John's GDQ run of this game, you'll see him flipping on the turbo switches on and off, and it's just something you kind of got to learn how to do if you're running this game.
Speaking of that, the hovering, the flying through the air, intended mechanic. It's shown in some of the demo screens and it's mentioned in manuals. It's very much intended for you to be doing this. It's not like a glitch it's a feature.
That's so interesting, Memory, because in the NES version, you know, there's really no good way to spin. I mean, there's, you know, there's no turbo button or switch.
It's mentioned in the manual for NES as well.
Wow.
I tested that one too, but it's consistently a feature.
You'll notice that both John and Uber were getting meats in that stage, and that's once again just to keep the speed up. And it's not easy. What they're doing there is not trivial. It's tough to consistently keep the meat throughout the entire stage. So Uber takes a death there, and it's actually not the worst thing in the world. But one of the things that, at least for a casual or first playthrough, the deaths aren't the worst thing in the world because you just continue from where you stopped. However, in a speed run, you can tell that animation takes anywhere from like 3 to 5 seconds, and you have to press the run button again. So it can definitely be a time hurt if you're playing this as a speed run.
Even worse, though, is if you get a game over.
Yes.
Because the continue starts you back at the beginning of a world, usually, with a couple exceptions.
As we mentioned in Airzonk, similar to, it just seems to be like a characteristic and a feature of all Bonk games. The last level is like half the game, so it's like you game over there, it can be pretty brutal.
Thankfully, in this game, they have a couple checkpoints. Like, I think one at the start of the boss rush. And
oh, that's right, yeah.
If you play this game,
one before T-Reactor Head as well, but there's actually a soft block right before T-Reactor Head if you're not careful.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
did
say,
not know that.
if you play this game casually, you basically might get stuck on that last world for a while until you make it to the actual boss rush, because it's hard.
Yeah, so Game Center CX, this like Japanese comedy show, like once did this game, and they soft blocked right before T-Reactor Head. And unfortunately, if you soft block, you don't get the option to continue from the start of the world. So they had to replay the entire game.
Oh, brutal.
Alright, here's a really important for us, because in this boss fight, you really want to come in with meat, because the boss's animations take forever. So having a meat means less animations, less downtime, and you kill the boss really quick.
John, that was actually a great fight on this boss fight, but if you'll notice, the way that you can actually tell which version of the boss you should hit is it's the one on top. As they separate, you can see one on the bottom and one on the top.
Yeah, and the ideal fight to do really quickly is for GLaDOS to go left. And of course, GLaDOS went right because this is a marathon.
Right. Why would everyone agree to try to make it easier for you?
An important thing about the bosses in this game is that they take increased damage depending on Bonk's form. Like, the more meats you have, the more damage they'll take. So, like, I think it's like double damage per, like, meat, or something like that. So, a lot of bosses you want to come in with a meat so you don't have to deal as many hits.
Oh, nice job. That was a good fight, Uber. Now, is there a definitive, the Japanese version is faster than the North American version? Is that accurate?
Yeah. I think so.
And it's probably in the text, obviously, here at the end of stages.
Yeah, the cutscene text is much faster. It's just everybody plays the US version because it's just the most commonly available.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So similar approach here in this stage for both of the runners, and that is that they're specifically picking up some meats that they know are going to be there, and try to take that meat with them as far as they can. That was actually really well done, John. Got through that pretty quick.
Here's a really important stage. If you fall down that pit, you have to do an extra level. So don't.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very consistent, but I have definitely missed it.
It's pretty much required for you to hover across the pit or spin through the air, like across the bridge a bit. This is the ice stage is the one level in the game where you can get above that magical 7 number I mentioned earlier. The ice slopes, if you go down them for long enough, you can build up speed, and that will let you go above 7 to, I think, like the highest I managed was 9.
Oh.
Good meat. Alright, so this stage, it's very important to get a meat and take it to the boss, because there is a quick kill on the boss, and it's only possible with meat.
And as we get there, I do have to give some credit out to greatjohn here in that, I don't know if you discovered it, but you were the one who we noticed actually did this and found this out, so. The John kill as it is. Oh, Cooper got a little bit unlucky with the drop there, but there is still, you still can get some meat.
I did get the John sickle. And yes, yes, I discovered it. I just needed to concentrate on actually getting it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That takes a three cycle boss down to 1, and it's rad. Good job, John.
That trick isn't in the task yet. I'm currently like, oh, I should probably learn meat, like how to manipulate drops, and I haven't bothered yet.
Didn't we time that out at GDQ? It was like, yep, that's actually going to save some time.
It's definitely faster by a lot.
Uber's still doing a good job. Considering he doesn't have the meat going on, he's still getting through it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, going to have a bit longer of a boss fight. Without any meat, the one cycle you saw from John won't be possible. But you get to see the whole fight this time, at least.
John's on a stage that does not change at all. It's one room for the entire stage, and
yeah, one room and the boss, and that's it.
Which you would think, oh, maybe that's a little bit easier, but
God no.
Oh my gosh,
it's a very long one.
Those pterodactyls, I can't remember what the name of them are, but the birds here, they take 1 full heart of health if they hit you, so it can be pretty brutal if you take any damage to them.
Got to show off a new trick there. Yeah, I can gain like a ton of speed. It's not 100% reliable because of those dang birds.
I hadn't seen that yet. That was rad. Hey, good job, Uber. Way to get through that. That's how you do it without the meat powered up. So you can actually get through it. Good job with it, considering. If you notice at the end, as Uber's finishing up the stage, however many smiley faces he had collected during the stage, it adds the health back on. As far as I know, it doesn't really affect the timing. Maybe if you have a lot of them. But...
It does.
Okay.
So oddly, the ideal number, like if health isn't a concern, the ideal number of smileys to get is 1. 0 actually gets you to the next round slower for some reason.
That's weird. Do you get 1 smiley in the task?
Yeah, every level. Well, the thing is, Jerfo, like the previous tasker before me, Jerfo, his tasks got 1 smiley in the first level, and then 0 smileys for the rest of the game. And then I noticed, like, I was losing time on the, like, in between rounds because I got 0 on the first world, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh, 1 is actually faster. Okay. And so
really
I got 1 for the rest. And that was good, Punchy Pedro.
Yeah, nice fight, John.
Round 5, the longest one.
Oh, yeah. So here is what, as you will be seeing, is a constant for the series from here on out. Very long last rounds. This level starts out with a vertical challenge, sorts. verticality is something I think the Bonk series does fairly well. Like, there's a lot of vertical stages in the Bonk series compared to something like a lot of the Marios or the Sonics at the time.
Uber's making some pretty good work here too, getting through the long stage 4, and you notice the trees move and stuff too. You can use those to keep your momentum going if you're spinning it this time. Similar to the way John does it, he is taking a little bit lower route, and that's to bounce off, I think, the moving shrubs. Yeah. Tumbleweeds.
So this level's John's on it very long horizontally, and I think he's gonna have to go for the elevator.
It hasn't happened. It doesn't happen very often. By the way, great fight, Uber. That's as good as you can do it without meat. That was wonderful. Za recently had a moment where she was able to spin all the way into that opening, and it's doable, but you have to bounce off the right enemies to get there.
Oh, I fell in the water.
Oh.
It happens sometimes on my emulator runs.
But still, you got out.
Safety jump.
That's the other most important skip in the game to get. Like, after the skip, not falling down the bridge, you can just jump over the wall there and skip an entire very long and slow water section. It's very helpful.
Ooh. The one benefit of going through the water, if you're playing it casually or anything like that, is that there are a fair amount of power-ups. There's some secret rooms there that you can power your character back up. There's an extra life and things like that. But it takes so long that if you're speedrunning through the game, it's just, you can't go through it.
Not only that, but it's actually fairly easy in that section to grind for lives by repeatedly bouncing off an enemy off your head and group grinding out the points.
There you go. I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome.
Like, I learned that also from Game Center CX. Like, somebody showed it to me recently because, like, they knew I tasked the game. I was like, oh, I learned some things.
Yeah.
Like,
the part that John's on right now, it may not look it, but this is really a challenging section of it. It's platforming, but it's also getting the right bounces off of some of these enemies so you can mix in your spins and keep some momentum going. And to find that exact right mix of that, it seems like it never happens. It's just... John's in a room now where you want to spring boost, and you also want to avoid these sprinklers. So there's a very specific path he's taking with his spring boosting, and good thing he got the safety out there. That's actually important, but trying to spring boost and not get hit at the same time by the sprinklers. That was pretty nice, John.
Yep. Oh, and then Uber got the skip the normal way, which is just, falling onto it.
That's like, I would say, probably one of the oldest skips we have in this game. That was in the original task way back when.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't in it? Oh my gosh.
No,
I did not know that.
No, that's part of why I improved it, was because, like, I did the next version, and Jerfro was like, hey, there's a really big improvement on my old tasks. Like, hey, you should take a look at this. Like, you shown promise with, like, the next version. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that's what happened.
Well, there you go. So glad that, see, that's why I know nothing. This is perfect. The section that John is on right now, and you're seeing it happen, is that this is the most challenging platforming section because you want to move through it as fast as possible. But when you're actually playing Bonk in real time, it's tough to describe, but it almost feels like there is inherent input lag or delay built in because of how floaty and how slow Bonk moves. So
Bonk is like a truck.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
That fall that happened.
Truck.
That fall that happened right after that bird, I've never actually seen happen before. I don't know why I fell. I didn't get hit by the bird. That's never happened before.
Congrats! You have a that's never happened before moment. It's also where many PB attempts have been lost and reset in that room.
So, John's currently on what one could call the donation room, reading room. If this was a marathon which read donations, this would be where they would be read.
We'd like to thank Steel Eyes for his 5 gift subs to the channel, and Uber had a good spring and a room. Oh, and a picked up of meat. That actually might be helpful. So in these rooms where you have the random meat drops, for speedrunning purposes, most of the time we don't want to get them. If you're in a situation where you're a bit concerned about how many lives you have and how much damage you can take, then it actually is a little bit helpful, but it's random, so.
In this game, meat, if it's not the invincibility, meat doesn't speed you up at all. Only the invincibility meat speeds you up. But it still allows you to like deal extra damage to enemies and so on and so forth. And obviously it counts as an extra hit.
So the waterfall you just saw John swim up, typically you would engage the turbo there, and I'm sure he did too, but I think he hasn't button mapped for turbo, so. Oh, flashing lights. Sorry, folks. We'll get on the next one. There's some flashing light stuff coming up. I'm so sorry. We will make sure to notify you of that.
Wait, there's a meat there? Oh, John, I didn't know about the meat Uber just got, but alright, John is getting a meat in order to take it to the boss rush, which, if everything works out right, he will get at least 1 hit on Gladys with it. Well, actually, he will get 1 hit on Gladys with it. There's no way you can get 2, but ideally you get 1 hit on Gladys, which means you have to get a very clean Huey fight, very clean movement up to it, and
It looks like I should be able to get it, but it might be close.
yeah, it'll be close.
It always is close. That was actually a really cool meat strat from Uber, especially considering his life situation. Now he has a really good chance of getting to the boss rush, and so if he does game over at the boss rush, he starts back at a much more friendly spot. Oh, John did get the hit, didn't he?
I kind of missed it.
Oh, okay.
But
I did get it.
glad
Glad
to hear. Honestly, I was surprised to find out that RTA runners were even able to get that hit. Like, even for tasks, I could only get 1. So, like, to find out that RTA runners could get it at all was super surprising to me.
Okay, I gotta read out JB's comment because it is kind of funny, but he's not referring to the speedrunner. Bonk and Princess Zah get married. Zah tells Bonk that she's taking the T-Raptor for a spin. Bonk says he's going for a spin too, but doesn't need a vehicle. Hey, yo. Uber on the climb now in the waterfall and doing the same thing. Thankfully, we get a full health drop. Oh, flashing lights on Uber's screen, so look away if you're sensitive.
The unfortunate thing about the refights is that the cutscene for the fights will drain your meat. Like, it still ticks off that meat counter. So if it didn't, it would be much easier to get hit with the meat. Like, meat will gradually disappear over time. This is true for every game in the series. So, like, if you are in these cutscenes, your meat will just disappear, like, during the cutscene. It's really unfortunate. And here's T-Raptor Head, which is the semi-final boss. You have to hit the antenna, and it can move around quite fast. Oh, pretty good fight.
Yeah, John, that was actually a good one. That part can be very frustrating because, and you'll see coming up too, the T-Raptor hitbox for that little thing is a bit tiny.
Yeah, I think I might have figured out, and maybe Memory knows this better, is kind of it seems like maybe your X placement is determining whether or not he's going to fly or whether he's going to stay on the ground and shoot stuff, but I haven't confirmed
no idea. I think I just hit it so fast that it didn't do anything.
Didn't matter.
So I should just do task level strats.
That's all you gotta do. It's that simple.
Alright, so now that they've rescued Princess Thaw, it's time to go to the moon. Or half the moon.
Flashing lights, folks. Flashing lights.
Oh.
There's a couple of different flashing light scenes here, so just beware.
Drool's always stealing the moon, or half the moon.
He really likes the top half more. He never goes for the bottom half ever again. He always goes for the top half. Like, Bonk's Revenge, you go get the top half. And then Bonk 3, you also get the top half again. Like, I don't know why he would really like the half.
It's so bizarre. I think Drool has perhaps some issues we may have to sit down and chat with him about.
Alright, so first phase of this fight, he's just a silhouette and you have to, avoid these orbs or bounce off them and then attack him in the head. Then second phase, he comes down from the top and you have to jump onto his nose and attack.
It's on a casual playthrough, the Drool fight can be quite frustrating actually, because it seems like the only way you can get up there at times is by taking damage and then actually doing your attack. You'll notice that's the speed strat, but it's kind of the casual one as well.
So Lisa,
time for John.
Or Lat's up next.
Yes.
Oop. Alright,
GG,
see you,
John.
Lat. GG.
Okay.
Good luck on Revenge, Lat.
Yes. I'll wait for him.
Yeah, thanks for the GG. Thanks, Doc.
You can't hear my game audio, Ant? Okay.
So I'll be joining on commentary to take Lat's place while he's a little busy.
A big shout out to the folks behind the scenes making this happen. Ant, I can't believe it. Just a big shout out to Ant making this whole thing work. So you may not hear him, but trust me, he's doing a bunch of magic behind the scenes. Here we go.
Probably be smart for me to watch the stream, huh?
Alright, so Bonk's Revenge, basically a very different engine from Bonk 1. Now, Bonk can no longer, bounce off the, flowers from the side, but can still hover, and this game has some interesting quirks of its own.
That is a different engine, so the spinning isn't as advantageous in this game, but it's still the fastest way to move.
It's still very advantageous.
It's not quite like Bonk's Adventure where you can just get tons and tons of speed. And it looks like Uber is up against Drool here. We'll be wrapping that up pretty soon.
Yep. In Revenge, meat is pretty much your primary way of getting speed. So you're going to be seeing a lot of meat grabs there. And mini bosses are very important as well.
He only needs a few more hits.
One of the challenging things about Drool is that often, he goes off screen and you have to just blindly go for him.
Yeah, it looks like Uber's going for a little bit of a backup to spin. It's kind of a desperation move if you're getting stuck by these tridents, which are terrible. Oh, it does look like he's going to take a death here, but it's not too costly since you have a ton of lives here. There it is. So Lisa's going to be up next for Gary Geek. We're both going to be in Bonk's Revenge.
GG Uber. Good run, man.
It was a great run. So Lat's making his way through the castle stage. Looks like he took a little route to kind of make his way up to the top. I think one of the fastest ways might be to go all the way across the bottom, but it's a little bit safer to go to the top as an RTer.
I think Lisa takes the bottom route, but we'll see.
I think so too.
Typically, I take the bottom route, but there may have been an accidental extra spin that I just, you know.
I think you also damage boosted off of an enemy.
I did, yes.
And here's an important quick kill. If you repeatedly bonk the ground, Bonk does a shockwave attack if he has meat. And the hitbox for the turtle is there even before he actually comes out of the ground. So if you repeatedly bonk the ground, you could damage him and deal opponent damage.
Yeah, I think the task says something crazy there, if I recall, but so I don't really want to say I discovered that, but I did discover, at least on my RTA runs, that I could gain a bunch of time there by just slamming the ground repeatedly.
I forget if I don't think the original task we compared against did that. I think we got it from RTA.
So the enemy that LattMackey just finished, I affectionately call Skull Knives. I'm sure they have a name, but I don't know it. Oh, and Lisa just pulled off. What was that?
Revenge doesn't have as many enemy names as Adventure does, at least not clearly. Like,
yeah, either
Adventure
in the manual.
with all the enemy names at the credits.
Exactly.
There's nothing like that in Revenge.
So Lisa just pulled off a great trick at the end of that. There was that mini boss at the end, but if you kill it in just the right way, you get a little cutscene skip, and it's pretty substantial. It's about 1 or 2 seconds, so it's something that you have to wait for Bonk to walk off the screen, and Lisa is really consistent to pull that one off.
Yep.
I think 100% now.
And a quick shout out to Lisa, because she has been grinding the game quite a bit recently, and so there's going to be quite a difference in our strats here. And John and Memory will point them out, but you'll see Lisa going for some things that I haven't even attempted yet. So just a quick FYI and heads up on that.
Yeah, I haven't even been able to keep up with all the strats, and it's just so awesome to see, like, hey, I did this, and it saves a bunch of time, and that's what we really love to see in the Bonk community. It's like, we always think, oh, I don't take that meat, it takes too long, and it's like, oh, but you can take this meat and actually do this, and take it all the way to the boss in ways that, you know, we didn't think were possible.
Alright, so another fun thing about bosses in Bonk's Revenge, it's actually faster to end closer to the right side of the screen because Bonk will walk off the screen to the right. So if you're closer to the right, he has less distance to walk.
Yeah, so Lisa ended that.
So as you can see, like between the two screens, Bonk had more distance to travel, and whereas Lisa's boss said less distance to travel.
Early on, John and I were trying to figure out, how do you get the last hits on the right side of the screen? Like that was a lot of our, ideas on the boss fights were kind of built around that, because it seemed like it was a significant amount of time being saved if you can get the last hit on the right side.
Yeah, and a few of them are random, so you can't manipulate it as much. But like I'm thinking of the ship boss later is like you have to manipulate for it to show up on the right side of the screen. Otherwise, you'll have to walk so far.
That one's the really tricky one. Also, the ballerina, which you pretty much will never get on the right side because she always appears in the center.
So Lisa is doing something different than Ladder I do in Bonk's Revenge here, is actually getting the meat on this level and taking advantage of that to get up this vertical level really fast and getting to bonk off the walls while still invincible.
It also will save...
Oh, yeah, we definitely get in task.
Right.
But it also saves time in the next stage as well. Because in this game, even if you don't have full meat, just lesser meat will also speed Bonk up. It's not quite the same amount, but it's still good. Here, Lisa has let go of the direction on her controller. If you are moving and you are above your current form speed cap, you can keep speed by letting go of the D-pad.
So just like a little hover there.
That sounds easy enough. I've tried some of that, and to get your brain
If you
to
hit
actually
the ground,
do that,
obviously you're going to lose all your speed, but yeah, that takes some practice.
it really does. My brain just doesn't work that way sometimes. I'm like, what? Take my finger off what?
So yeah, LattMackey is getting the meat hoping to take all the way to the boss here, and that involves like maneuvering through a lot of these enemies and projectiles and doing a very delicate spin here. Hopefully he gets it. Looks like a good setup. Oh, he might be there. Now you just need to actually get to the boss room. Sometimes easier said than done. All right, looking good. So you can see he's just about to lose the meat here, but when you get back into this room, you'll magically have that double meat for just a little longer. So it gives you a little extra boost here for this fight because you get that double damage. This is a very slow fight.
Yeah, it's very important to get this boss fight in particular with meat because just the amount of phases just increases drastically without it.
Yeah, if you bring this meat in and have a perfect fight, you can do it in 3 hits, whereas it's 5 hits, I believe, on if the casual if you don't have the meat.
With double meat, it's 2 hits.
Yeah, and I believe Lisa does that for the refights, but I just don't think it's possible. At least it is in the task, right? But I just don't think it's RTA viable.
Possible. It's possible RTA, but it's ballsy.
Really
It's like it's not easy and it's very risky.
Now the stage Lat's on right now is one of it's a pretty chill stage, but there's still a lot of enemies that can wreck your day, and the mini boss is one that I don't like very much. T-Rexes.
Every time.
Oh,
They have it out for me.
Did you get eaten?
I got eaten.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get eaten by these.
So you can see Lisa is definitely inching in on Lat at this point. So she's definitely got these first stages really optimized and saving some time. So we're coming up on one of the first and very important skips to get on this one. Lat is on the left.
Uh-oh, okay. Lisa has a chance. I may have missed one.
Uh-oh.
You'll see in just a second.
Team Sally Slug's gonna be losing some time.
What I was thinking is that I wanted to give the viewers just a little bit more of the game than perhaps they might normally see in a speed run. So here's the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, so it's a very tricky jump. You have to jump off of that claw enemy that's shooting bubbles at you. It's like you have a very short window as to do it, and then you have to do a little wall bonk there. It's pretty consistent to get the setup. It's just sometimes nerves get in the way, and it's like you miss one jump or you're slightly too far one way or the other. It becomes a lot harder. So now he's actually just right on the other side of where he would have been able to get to. Just had to go the long way.
Didn't miss it by much, I'll be honest with you, but just enough nerves to just barely miss.
And Lisa just finished Ice Princess, so heading to World 4 as well, or Round 4.
That always throws me off, that the Bonk games are rounds.
I pretty much always say World, so please correct me.
Yeah.
Stage Lat is on right now. We're mostly just gonna like power through this with the meat, and also hope we have enough health to stay alive for the majority of it.
Yep. Coming up on Lisa, once he reaches the next stage, we forgot to mention another skip.
Oh, we did. We actually that was the second game instead of second skip instead of the first. So we did miss the first.
The first stream's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like
Maybe we won't be able to commentate it.
I did get the first skip, so if you saw it in mine, there was the first skip.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, it looks like Lisa's back. And she's at the little mini T-Rex fight. And Lat is at the boss fight for this round. And looks like you're getting pretty good first pattern. Did not get the
Lisa
one
got a
second.
very clean pterodactyls though. And
Yeah.
very good, by the way.
Got the first skip, so yeah. Gonna gain some time back if we get to the second skip on Lisa's screen here. And Lat is just finishing up the first boss fight, really clean. Or the fourth boss fight. First. What am I talking about?
Yeah, close enough. Just off by 3.
Oh, Lisa missed the second skip as well. Wow, okay. So I thought might be able to gain some time there, but this is gonna
I
make it
guess we're not
interesting.
gonna be seeing that today.
Just know there's a skip there.
You know what? Every run can't be a PB or a world record, so you know marathons are a thing.
Yep.
So something interesting, a memory. I think you know the trick to getting the big meats out of the flowers. Did we talk about that yet?
Alright, it's actually based on vertical speed. If you're going down fast enough, you will get the big meat. If you're not, small meat.
Yeah, it's something
and
that.
usually a downward bonk will just get it the big meat every time, pretty much. But,
Yeah. So as an RTA runner, it has a bit of a feel to it. It's something where you like get a solid jump and then a bonk down, and it's like just enough speed. Oh,
Okay.
and Lat gets to show us a bonus stage.
I'm gifting a sub to the channel, just like that. Oh my god.
So on a
Somebody
speed
gets a
run,
free sub.
Lat, we don't want to do bonus stages though, right?
Not in this game, no. Well, that's not embarrassing at all. You didn't see that. Let's just everyone look away for a moment. You didn't see anything.
At least he keeps his meat, the big meat.
Yeah.
Orange Waterfall is maybe the hardest stage in the game. It's a very difficult vertical platforming stage. Many enemies.
Yeah,
Some of the
they just
damage
pop
is
out of
in
ground and out of at the air and out of everything.
Yeah, if you played this casually, this might have ended your run because it's like right before a new stage, and it's just brutal. You really have to have the lives packed on to get through this one. And I'm pretty sure Lisa takes more of a safety meat, and maybe the task does too.
Yeah, the task takes the meat there as well.
Yeah, I think us old school, like old people, we would do the RTA strats of well, I'll just take a death eventually. So and kind of hope not to get hit, but that's what typically happens.
Easy's calling me out. This isn't a casual playthrough. Wait a second, Easy. Okay, you know what? I'm just trying to. I want to show everyone, you know, the various forms of this game that exist. Okay.
Easy. That was Airzon. Come on, he's being competitive now. I sure hope so. Didn't we talk about that, Lat?
I mean, yes, quote unquote competitive.
Speaking of EC Games was the person who helped me task Bonk's Revenge. Most of the Bonk games I did by myself, Bonk's Revenge is the one exception. I tested it with Easy. And he found a trick that we'll be discussing at the very end of the run.
I have a huge shout out to Easy Games as well because he's tasked a few other Turbografx 16 games as well, and super thankful for his work and his efforts in the tasking space.
No, us Bonk runners love our taskers for sure.
Oh my gosh. We wouldn't have half the stuff, I think, sometimes without some of these tasks.
Oh, did you get hit? Yeah,
I did.
Looks like you got hit. So what you want to try to take that meat to the boss. I mean, I feel like we've said this a few times. You want to take the meat to the boss in Bonk games? Like, I don't know.
You haven't noticed yet. It's all about the meat.
If you can take the meat to this boss, you can just knock it out in a couple hits, and it's really easy. But this fight is not challenging. It saves time. This might also be a very strong competitor for hardest level in the game because this one is just another difficult vertical level with these little scissored platforms that fall as soon as you jump on them or split apart.
It's going to be a little bit slower now, but that's okay. I'll make it work.
And what's really interesting about the way we set on these teams for this relay race is that we tried to balance out as best as possible the PBs between all the runners. So it should be almost like an identical, at least by the minute, about like based on folks' PBs. Like these are pretty evenly matched teams. Now Lisa is probably just going to destroy us all because she's been saving so much time though. So.
And you're going to start seeing that happen here at the stage after this one. Her routing and strats are going to drastically be different than mine.
Yeah,
She'll be
especially
taking a whole different route.
The boss rush and just that whole final stage with the little mini tunnels.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to take it safe and taking it too safe. Okay, let's get back.
Yeah, sometimes
taking it too safe and ending up
Right.
getting endangered in the process.
Yes. Worse off.
Sometimes these play it safe areas and like where you just need to move fast, it's like you're gonna get way more hurt just trying to play like easy. So Lat's facing up against the robot, and we are actually gonna see this fight a few times, twice.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like he got the quick kill on the robot where we cheese the robot and get it caught in the corner. And then you can get this really quick kill. It's beautiful. And there's actually an even slightly quicker kill for the boss rush version of the robot, which I think Lisa might go for. But I'm not sure.
Lisa definitely goes for it.
Yeah,
No
so
joke.
we might see some time separation there too.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I haven't gotten that in over a year, so I just randomly got lucky on that one. I'll take it.
That's amazing because like that does save a substantial amount of time. It just takes so many cycles. I'm a little biased. He's on my team, you know.
I have no bias.
Right.
I'm here to be impartial.
So when John and I first started running this game, we would at least from what I remember John telling me, we chose this order of bosses because this stage specifically has extra lives and extra health. Like it seemed like a good place if we were behind, we could just, life up and health up. Little did we know that there was a much faster route out there.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I think we just never really questioned it because it also like gives you an extra heart container, and like we like to get that extra heart container just for a little safety. And I think you might have been the first one that was like, you know what, I'm gonna skip out on the lives, and it was like, wow, you can save like a lot of time just by not getting the lives.
Oh yeah.
Who would have thought?
Sometimes we just need somebody to do the basic silly things.
The obvious logical thing, that whole thing.
That's right. Lisa got a quick robot kill, but I hadn't looked at the beginning of the fight. Did she get the quick kill as well?
I missed it.
What great commentators we all are.
We got each other covered.
Regardless, she is not far behind Lat because this basically we have these tunnels that are like mini stages that lead up to having to fight all the bosses again. So this is our boss rush, but with these really challenging levels thrown in there too. So you can actually see Lisa going a different route here.
This is the task route.
Yep. Just do what the task does, right?
Yep.
I actually maybe have, I don't think I've seen Lisa's near out here, so I think I've seen some clips of like where you can get some time saves, but I've not seen the whole thing. So, Lat, hopefully you're gonna do well. I'm gonna watch Lisa's stream for a bit.
Please do. No, yeah, actually commentate what she's doing because it's actually super interesting.
Yeah, Memories is probably more familiar, so go ahead.
Yep. All right, so the important thing is that you want to do conveyor tunnel into water tunnel because there's a trick with water tunnel that lets you reset your meat counter, and that will allow you to take a meat to the very slowest boss of the game, the Ice Princess.
As we said before, if we can save time on that fight, we're going to be saving a lot of time.
So great, man.
So the ideal route is to go from left to right, and then like do ambush tunnel first, and then conveyor tunnel, and then take the meat from conveyor tunnel into water tunnel.
Something I just noticed is that Lisa is very low on lives. I don't know if she's got some lives she's going to be picking up on this route, but Lat has 5 lives, and that does count 0. But something that might come into play, I don't know if there's like if there's a difficult robot fight, might be a bit of the time lost there.
Also, I didn't know about the meat that Lisa got until very recently. The
Is
one
that one
that
of-
was above the camera.
Yeah, up on top, yeah.
Recent discovery.
Yeah, so Lat has just finished 2 of the tunnels, and Lisa is finishing her second, so it's definitely really close now.
Alright, so this level that Lat's in, huge vein. It's just crab. Yeah, there's a fast movement for crab in the test. I've never seen anybody go for it RTA, and it's like very stupid.
I've wanted to give it a try, and I haven't gotten to it because both of you have mentioned how it is faster.
Lisa's
It
having-
involves like repeatedly tapping the button, the directions. Like when you get up to a certain speed cap, like you let go right before you hit the speed cap, and then repress it and let go, repress it, let go.
Yeah, Lisa's having some trouble in the conveyor tunnel, getting stuck in those conveyors and the helicopters. Those are very dangerous. So it's something you can lose a lot of health there. So hopefully she can keep it together for like keeping her health up.
And total run killer.
Absolutely.
Literally can just end your run now.
Got a good.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like a good start to this Captain Cook fight.
Yep. She's taking a very safe strat.
There you go.
Because she doesn't want to lose the power up.
She's got the double meat coming out of that Captain Cook fight, so she's going to take that to the water level. So Lat just finished the water level, and Lisa's heading on in.
I am taking an intentional death here, and I am doing all 5 cycles. This is how you would normally beat the... I guess normally you would jump on the foot and wait for not taking the damage, but this is why you get extra lives as well. At least we used to in the old route.
Yeah, Lisa narrowly avoided a piranha there. I bet that's what memory is gasping about.
like the piranha scare me every time.
Oh, those piranhas! Like as soon as they touch you, you lose your power up. So
Yeah, it's important to keep the power up because like if you take damage out of crab, that resets. Like if you enter crab form, that just freezes your meat counter, and then if you take damage and exit crab, it just resets it. So you can keep meat like forever until you reach the end of the stage.
I think she's pretty home free because she's gotten through all the difficult sections. It looks like she's going to be able to take the meat all the way to Ice Princess. So you'll see some time save here for sure.
Yep.
On my path through it, I actually didn't make it through without getting hit, and one of them is intentional, but the other one I tried to make it through. And the fact that she's gotten through, it's not easy, folks. It's such a tight fit, especially when you try to move fast.
Lat's got his health up here for this section, and that's something you want because you really want to have some health for the damage boosting on the robot. So I cannot wait to see this Ice Ballerina fight with meat. It's going to be fast. Looks like it took a hit there. Was that the second hit or the first hit?
That was the second hit, but I'm not sure.
That'll do it. Still 3.
Yeah, like sometimes it's a little unclear if you get hit before or after you do your hit. And that makes a huge difference because like if you get hit before, then you lose your power up and you're only doing regular damage.
Yeah, so you can see how fast like with so I had a pretty solid time over Uber, but that time is basically erased just because how fast Lisa is doing with all these new strats. It's awesome.
All right, John.
All right, Lat is headed into the robot fight. Let's see if he can
doing old
strike gold again.
Oh. There's a very new strat on this fight, but you'll see it later on Lisa's side.
So he didn't get the quick kill on this robot fight, so you're going to see how it can be a lot slower fight. But he's got lots of health, so I think he's going to damage boost to at least get a couple hits in.
Dang it, I missed that.
And Lisa's finishing the last tunnel, so yeah, they were really only 1 tunnel apart at this point, which is incredible.
I will not be doing the new drool strat either. So in
And
case
I don't know if you even have the help for it.
I don't
Yeah.
actually. I'd have to take a death.
I often take a death here, like right at the beginning of the fight, because it just
Smart.
like it gives you some room for damage.
Alright, so on Lisa's side, please pay attention to the top of the screen. So Colin, aka Easy Games, figured out that
There you go.
You start at the top of the screen and fall down. Why not just hover to the boss?
Yeah, I've been able to pull that out. It's really difficult. It looks like Lisa's been able to get that really consistently. I haven't been able to do it as part of a run a lot of times.
Didn't quite get the damage boost.
So they're
There's
both
also
in the
new
duel
damage
fight right
boost
now.
class.
Time
Both
for
in the
me.
duel fight. Time for Lat, and it's going to be real soon here for Lisa. This is awesome.
Wow, I can't believe that she made up all of that. Congrats, Lisa.
GG.
I'd love to show the title screen, but I am the Bonk 3 runner, so I do need to reset my screen, folks. So you're
Yep.
going to see the Super SD system, just to let y'all know.
So that's time for Lisa too. Wow,
Ah.
this is a close race now.
GG, Lisa.
Yeah, Bonk 3 is probably the game that this community plays the least. I know Lat and I and Infinite Mystery are kind of the main runners for this. I feel like there's been some others that have taken a stab at it, but RTA runners this game hasn't gotten a lot of love.
Ant, I'll wait for you on the minute. Oh, okay, good. Absolutely. Doing it right now. Come on.
Right.
I actually really like this one as well. So, Bonk 3 is interesting because for some reason it uses the first game's engine again. It's not based on the second game's engine, it's based on the first. And you'll see how a bit later, but it's very interesting.
We both can go. Awesome.
All
Go
right.
in.
Both
Good luck,
runners are
Infinite
gonna
Mystery.
Both runners are going to be starting Bonk 3 here. It's great.
Huey!
Huey's back. He's kind of just an obstacle in this game, not even an enemy.
No.
Just a kind of a stand to stand on for a little bit, you know. So something that's interesting about this game is you're saying I think it is the same engine as Bonk 1,
It's
but
it's very clearly based on Bonk 1 engine. Like boosting off the flowers is back,
and
it's like I use a lot of like RAM values, and the RAM values more closely resemble Bonk 1 than Bonk 2.
yeah, and it's one of these that what feels different as somebody who plays Bonk's Adventure a lot is that the spinning is definitely like
Spinning
feels a little
is
slow
way
motion.
slower.
Yeah,
Like
but it's something you can still get some speed boost
Yeah.
off of.
like in Bonk 1, I think the pattern is like 2 frames and then 4 frames. In Bonk's Revenge, it's like 6 and 6. And then in Bonk 3, it's like 7 and 7.
Well,
so-
it's just minor.
Lat's going for a boost, but unfortunately, it's not letting him do it.
I don't know if it's just anecdotal, but I feel like the flower bonks in this game just feel less consistent for me.
It's still the same 1 frame. Like every other frame, it's the same thing.
It's just I
So
haven't routed as many, and so it just doesn't feel as natural, probably.
Though I swear, like when I was testing the game, like I swear every time I would get to it on the frame where it didn't work.
Yeah, that's what's always unfortunate. I said, just like as a casual, or even as a speedrunner, it's just like you get it into a situation where you missed, and then you missed, and then you missed, and it just a
I
vicious
just took a
circle.
death, and I'm not even sure what killed me. Like, I don't know why that thing actually hit me, but okay.
I think there's an enemy that can actually slam down on the ground there, and that will hurt you. So
Alright, so on Infinite Mystery side, you saw one of the main gimmicks of the game. And you're about to see it on Lat's side too. Candy that makes you smaller or bigger. You'll only be seeing the big candy once, hopefully, I think.
Yeah.
With a little bit of luck.
But the small candies fairly helpful for shortcuts, and I'm not sure if any of these runners will take advantage of it, but having a candy means you skip the meat animation.
Yeah, there's a couple times.
Okay, good to know.
The pyramid level, especially, is one where you can take advantage of that. So,
like if you're big or small, you won't get the meat animation.
yeah, and the task goes really wild with like strats with spinning while small because it's a lot easier to control, and it looks like you get a lot of speed from it.
Yeah, like there's no, like you get like less jump height when small, but it's not that big of a deal. And here's a, oh, didn't quite get the new strat. Wait, did he clip further before? He did. Oh, that's.
Oh, wow.
Never seen that before.
That's never happened before.
Yeah.
I think he might have been going for the strat to like it doesn't cost anything to go for the strat to kind of bonk off the guy and get up on top of the ledge there.
Oh, and Lat didn't get it either. I guess today's the day of missed skip. Oh well. But I've never seen the clipping through the floor. That's a new one.
Oh, and IM is playing on the Japanese version, so you get to see the cute bonk.
Oh, cool. Regional differences. I gotta say that, you know, the game engine feels so drastically different than Revenge. Some of your normal timings and things that you kind of get used to, even in Adventure, just don't quite feel exactly the same in this game.
Yeah,
and yes, I'm making excuses for myself, but I'm, you know, just good.
It's based on Adventure, but it makes a lot of it adds a lot of the features from Revenge, but places it in the Adventure engine, and some things can be a little weird as a result, but still a really cool run.
Yeah, so it looks like Infinite Mystery still has just a slight advantage, and this early in the game it's going to be really hard to tell. I don't want to spoil it too much, but the final boss fight might be the great equalizer of this run, depending on how closely matched these runners are. But let's not spoil it too much.
One thing if you've ever played Super Bonk on the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, you may notice some things that kind of ended up in that game from this as well. Some of the different big and small bonks, and also when you go through a tunnel, things like that. A lot of those, they were here first before they made their way to the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
I also like to think, hey, you know what? We got a shrinking and huge bonk before Mario did, so. It wasn't until, what, New Super Mario Brothers they did that?
Yeah, I think. Also, you might have noticed that in the previous stage they floated. There's a specific power-up that lets you do that, and it's helpful in a couple stages. It allows you to do a fair amount of skips.
And actually, I think I'm thinking of Mini Bonk specifically, because I'm thinking of Mario 3 where you can get big, obviously, in Tiny Huge Land.
Well, that's not Mario getting big.
It's not a power up. That's right.
Right.
You can still play as a. Well, yeah. I guess the actual bigger Mario is much later.
See how much Mario you actually speedrun, John. Just say.
Right. Yeah. The entire Mario series. Obviously, I don't really speedrun. I have played Mario 3 a bit. I did learn that wrong warp, which is crazy.
Hey, so there you go. So you don't have your speedrunner card completely revoked.
Oh, yeah. Not today, guys. There was a false elevator there on LattMackey's screen, and I think I just missed it on Infinite Mystery.
Yeah.
I wonder if Infinite Mystery is going to be going for the quick kill here. Looks like he's having trouble getting up onto the platform there. It looks like he might not be able to pull off the quick kill, but LattMackey is getting set up for it. And let's see. And yeah, it looks good. Yeah, LattMackey got the quick kill. You can just... It's really difficult to get in the right position on top of the head, but now you guys are in sync. You guys are in sync. It's crazy right now.
I gotta say that... Oh, go ahead, memory. I'm sorry.
Despite them running off the side of the screen in this one, screen position doesn't matter. It's about the length of the power-up tune. The boss to beat tune.
That boss fight is, besides the King Drool fight, is, in my opinion, the most challenging one. To line that up to get it and to do consistent with it, I have found it to be a challenge.
Yeah,
honestly, even in the task, that was one of the hardest ones.
if you miss the quick kill, it is a very slow fight. It just has a lot of cycles to it. This is not what I want. Lat, you're big.
Oh no. Oh jeez. Another donation. Here we go. Another sub donation.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
got eaten by the kissy fish. So,
Alright.
what's interesting about the kissy fish? Memory, maybe you got something to say.
Don't enter them ever. That's my advice.
Who would have thought?
So what's interesting is that you basically have to play a level to escape from the kissy fish, and it's terrible. Yeah, it's slow. It's like the bonus.
If you have a Princess Za F emote, now would be the time to bust it out and use it in the chat.
Lat just wants to keep this race close.
You know, I thought it just so we could all see it.
And there's the F emote. There you go.
Thank you, Mandela. Appreciate it.
All right, so we're Infinite Mystery is going into the pyramid stage. I think this is I think Sonic 3 ripped this game off because this is the pyramid. We've got some day and night themes. We've got like all sorts of shifting sand and quicksand. Yeah, definitely inspired by this level.
Yep.
It's a really fun level. It's not too terribly tricky. There's lots of power-ups. You have to be small to get through some of these sections.
Yep.
So it's really cool. It looked like there was a heart on top of that bird. I don't know if that was a graphical glitch on Lat's screen.
I completely missed it. Oops.
I think it was just the way I was lined up, John, because I haven't noticed that, and that doesn't happen very often either. So that was just the way I think I was lined up.
Trying to catch up to the rock.
Yeah, you want to ride this rock across and hopefully not move too much.
What is a strong word? The task actually goes ahead of the rock and just repeatedly takes damage off the spikes.
Yeah, I think if you're small, you have a better chance of like kind of catching a ride and staying. But if you're big, it's just like, well, I'm bouncing all over the place.
Oh, turned into crab again.
Yeah, crab is not super beneficial here, except maybe to take a damage boost. But I don't think you really save any time doing that.
Is the task powered up here? Like, doesn't the task walk across the spikes or something?
Nope, there's no power-ups.
Oh, got
it just bounces off the spikes repeatedly.
That's what it is. Okay, that's right.
So I am is 1 meat powered up here as the cute bonk, which I love. Is that actually moving faster in this version?
Nope.
Memory?
It's just like Adventure. Only invincibility. Only invincibility. Grants extra speed.
Yeah, so this boss fight can be killed pretty consistently. Yeah, it looks like I am got up on top of the platform real quick. Let's see if you can get the quick kill. You can either spin. It looks like he's choosing to manually bonk it. You're basically always going to take like 1 or 2 hits, at least in RTA, in my experience.
Even tasks hard to avoid. Like the hitbox on a lot of bosses in this game are janky, which is unfortunate.
Which again is a little bit of foreshadowing for the end of the game.
Yeah.
So Lat's getting to that boss, so he's not far behind Infinite Mystery at this point.
I think it's a bit charitable to call them janky. They are outright frustrating sometimes in this game, and it's one of the things that speedrunning this game has been quite a challenge for me, because it's not that the hitboxes move or anything. They're just so tiny, or that they're in a place that makes it really tough to get to.
Yeah, the bosses just don't have the same kind of appeal as the first 2 games in this one. They're fun, but they're just not, like, it's really hard to hit them. It just seems like you can't play them consistently.
Like, oftentimes you get a hit and then you get hit yourself. That's very common.
Infinite Mystery took the top route here. If he's playing on the CD version, which I don't think he is, because he said there's some like loading times and didn't want to do it. Yeah, you can get caught on a bonus level right here, which I think he did in his GDQ run for Hotfix, and it was like, oh, bummer. No bonus stages this time.
Oh no! Oh no!
You're bonk. You're big again. What are you doing?
Oh my god. I don't even know where to go at this point. No, we'll be fine.
So Infinite Mystery is in the ice level, which I mean, we started out this level in a volcano, and now we're suddenly in an ice level, which it's like volcanoes and ice levels. It's like the worst two things combined.
And it's a vertical stage.
Yeah, the ice physics in this game are very slippery, and it's really difficult to move around. And I think you have to basically wait to be able to jump is part of the challenge. I haven't played this game in a little bit, but
I'm gonna try not to use the F word during the ice stage because the ice is so frustrating in this game.
Yep, and you have to fight a boss on the ice, so it's tough.
If you spin and then land on the ice, we will start going into the slide state when you hit the ground. So ideally, if you don't want that slide state, you don't spin if you're about to hit the ground, or you land on something like a flower.
Yeah, we saw Infinite Mystery do the slide, and now he's grabbing the flower. This is a great safe strat because there's so much ice here, and it's really nice to being able to collect the power-ups here. And all you have to do is get hit to lose it. So if you want to get your speed back, then that's the best way to do it.
You could also just cancel it, I think.
I don't think I've ever canceled it. I think I usually just get hit by one of those drops or something.
Yeah,
I love the F's in chat.
You can just head bonk and that will cancel it.
Nice. And I am doing some maneuvering away from those kissy fish so you can get that big heart. That's pretty much a necessity for this boss fight because, again, not very consistent. You can kill it in one cycle without getting hit too much, but it's a pretty difficult fight.
The really tricky thing is that this boss moves back and forth rather quickly, so you have to be quick on the draw.
Looks like a good setup to start. Oh, it looks like you fell through there. So you really don't want to be under bosses in this game or any of the Bonk games really, because you're often just like hanging out in the hitbox, and then anytime you jump up, you're actually only doing half damage instead of on top.
Yeah, for the most part. But the exception is that if you are like really good and can, like hit above and then hit below. Like sometimes you can bounce off the top and then hit the bottom. But that's like past level.
Yeah, most of the time you just want to be like, okay, get me out from under here. I need to get back on top. There was a question about, aren't we ahead of estimate here? So we did estimate fairly high for this whole run, but Bonk 3 can be a bit of a tricky game. It's the longest of the Bonk games. So the first two Bonk games were faster, but this one is a pretty time-consuming game. It's closer to a half hour plus.
For RTA. For tasks, it's actually the second shortest.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Bonk 1 cutscenes are what makes it the longest for tasks.
Is the task only on the US version, or do you do the Japanese version?
I did the US version, but it's not so much the text, it's more just like the boss rush.
Yeah.
Those cutscenes
I'm gonna take a game
forever.
over here. So intentionally, this is a kind of a scary stage.
Very.
And if I game over at any point, you have to start back from the beginning. And the boss is, I'll lose a life here on the boss, like usually. Not always, but quite often. So I'm going to just take a safety game over.
Yeah, so I am going to be able to kind of take a little bit of a lead here too. But yeah, like I said, there's some really challenging sections in the last stage.
And the last stage is... Oh, you mean of this round, right? Duh.
Right. The last round, yeah.
I'm like, oh, last stage. That means the end of the game. No, you mean last stage of this round. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I told you all to keep me honest too. So.
Well, this time you were right, and I was mixing up the words. So, you know.
So the section I am going through here, there's not really a great way to get through here without getting hit. You can like get some meat to get some extra hits, but really it's most beneficial for us to just get hit a bunch and kind of get through this section as well as we can. And then what bonk game would be a bonk game without some waterfalls to climb?
Yep.
Staple of the series, as you've gotten a chance to see from all 3 games.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the "They Live" style "You Love Bonk" signs.
Oh, yeah.
You love Bonk 3.
I love those signs.
It's now on sale. You must buy it. Don't you already have it, or did you rent it?
But, like, if you're seeing the signs, you must already have the game or playing it.
So it might be showing my age, but has anybody heard of a store called Blockbuster?
Oh God, yes.
We used to be able to rent video games from stores. And not just kiosks.
So this boss is unusual because I think this is the only underwater boss in the Turbografx games.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, so
in the Game Boy games, there's an underwater boss, but that's in the Game Boy game.
Yeah, I explicitly said Turbografx for a reason.
Oh, got it. Nice, yeah.
Like, past Turbografx, I'm like clueless for the most part.
Yeah, this boss that I am on right now is very tricky, and you can see all these enemies keep getting spawned. The quickest way to get through this fight is just basically to be inside of its hitbox and like debonking it constantly, but obviously that takes a lot of health, and IM's lives are a little low here, but he did just finish, so that was a great
just
fight.
go off screen? I guess nobody else noticed.
Well, did he like go off screen right before the transition?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't get a good look at it. All right, so we're heading into, this is not the final stage, but it's definitely kind of ramping up the difficulty here. And it looks like IM might be on the hunt for some meat here. So if you get this small meat over here, turn it into cute bonk, and then you get this second meat here, obviously you get the invincibility and just make this section a lot easier. But you do have to dodge those treacherous enemies. Oh, and it looks like now he should be able to get back up. Okay, cool. So he took a little fall there, and I was worried he might lose his meat power before he got it. No, but now he'll be able to make some quick progress in this section, which is a really great idea. Oh, and he got the big meat because he had that speed. That's nice. Ooh. And LattMackey's not too far behind him.
Slowly, trying to get there.
Yep.
It's a grind, folks. If you haven't played this game, this whole section just feels very grindy, and you got to keep jumping. You got to keep jumping and moving.
All right. So you may have noticed in that stage some enemies that looked a little familiar. They were the bosses from Bonk's Revenge.
That's right. We've got Huey, the robot, Ice Ballerina, or not Huey. What's the one I'm thinking of?
Oh, Witch Doctor or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that's right. Some similarities to Huey. Alright, and Lat looks like he's finishing up the submarine boss right there.
This is the Sia bitrate room.
Yes. Hopefully don't crash the stream.
Yeah, I am having a little trouble getting up the ice here. As we said, the ice is very dangerous. So something interesting about climbing these slopes is you basically just have to mash to actually get up them, and it is terrible. So ice movement in this game is just a nightmare.
Very cool in a test, but probably very hard for humans.
Yeah, RTA, we try to like not land on the ice if possible, like especially these difficult sections.
The thing where he's mentioned in Bonk's Adventure where you can get infinite, like a lot of speed on ice slopes, still applies here. So if you go down an ice slope, you can get a lot of speed. But
nice backward spin by LattMackey there too. So thankfully, IM has finished the ice stage. I bet he's happy to be out of it. Now this is also a very tricky movement. You can get through this part unscathed, but if you miss one of the enemies, then it's like everybody's here to wreck your day. And there's also a ton of power-ups.
Or if you miss a cloud.
Yeah. And so those green guys that are kind of just like lingering around don't actually hit you, but they take your smileys, which we don't really care about in this run at all.
No, they just help you get mini games, which you're not going to play anyways, because they take time.
Yeah, so at the end of the level, you get to choose to play mini games, and we're like, no, I don't want to do that.
Unless you're speedrunning in a marathon, and then it's absolutely intentional when you get a mini game, okay? Let me just tell you
That's right. Mini games or kissy fish, you just have to show off what's inside them, yeah.
I'd be a little more impressed if you got one of the mini games from the menu at the end of a round, but...
Yes.
Yeah, you have to hit up and then start, so, you know. If you forget to do it, you might be picking a mini game. All right, so yeah, this level that IM is on is probably the most difficult in the entire game. It's very challenging, and there's just so many enemies that are easy to die to. He's trying to get up this vertical platform and keeps getting attacked by this pterodactyl. But what he wants to do is...
Pterodactyls are still the same terror they were in Revenge.
Yeah, he should be pretty safe here if he can kind of get through here, but he's going to be going to the boss, and he doesn't have any life, so this is going to be a really scary boss. But good luck.
If he wins against the boss here, he'll probably take a death at the start of the next world. There's just no... Like, it's just way too risky.
Wow. Yeah. Barely got it. It's got one heart left. Way to go.
Oh, he got an extra life, though.
Yes. But
so
it is
maybe...
something he might take an intentional death. He might just, like, try to... Well, because you'd have to do the boss rush over again, so it would probably be in his interest to do that.
Well, the thing is, you'd have to take 2 deaths now because he got an extra life.
That's true. It's really easy to die to these bosses, though.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, LattMackey's not far behind. All he has to do is get through this section. Yeah, he's actually right at the boss too. So he's getting right up on the boss rush, and you can see, like, this time's closing back in again. And so the strat on this guy, obviously just don't get hit by the big blades, but once you're in the center, you're pretty safe. You can still get hit, but as long as you're kind of just wiggling around in the center of that crab, it's pretty easy. And so
also,
IM... Go ahead.
Looks like IM's going for it and not taking any intentional deaths.
Yeah. Bold strategy. He's in it to win it.
They could pay.
Yeah, so this time King Drool took the moon to the bottom of the ocean. So
yep,
just still likes that moon. The top of the moon. Yeah, you're right. The top of the moon to the bottom of the ocean. If I misspoke.
Yep, that sounds about right.
So yeah, this is still a really close race. This is great.
Yep. Looks like they're going for different boss orders, so...
Yeah, the boss rush you can do in any order here. There's no stages, so it's just play whichever ones. I generally go for the ones I hate the most first and just get them out of the way.
Same here, I have the most problem with the robot, or the giant thing, so that's usually what I go for.
LattMackey's got the quick kill on the robot or giant or, golem.
I'm sure there's a name for it, probably in the manual.
We need to learn more about the lore. And so what's nice is they give you this big health power-up. So as long as you don't die on these bosses, it's not too treacherous. But and that's probably what IM was thinking is like, hey, I can take out all these bosses without dying, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Yep. Working out pretty well.
All right, let's see if he can get the quick kill on the robot. It's possible that IM doesn't go for the quick kill intentionally, because I think he had trouble with it when he was last playing this run. He's getting a pretty quick kill by doing it this way, though. It's just not the absolute fastest. So this is not bad at all. Yeah, that was actually pretty close to the one cycle. And LattMackey going for the Nautilus one cycle here. Looks really good. Yeah. And yeah, looks like you got it.
That's a very good one.
Not getting hit there feels very lucky.
Yeah. You know, I bet you're kicking yourself about that bonus stage now because it's so close.
I don't know what you're talking about, John. Okay, you know, I just I'd like to. I just wanted to donate a sub to the channel. Okay, that's I'm just gonna try to make some excuse for it.
Team Sally Slug is here to show you some places in Bonk you might not have seen.
Exactly.
All right, so I Am is moving on to the final. I think it's actually called the final stage, since he's playing on the Japanese version. I didn't recall, but final round.
Final bonk down.
Yeah, there's actually signs that say final. It's like final 1, final 2.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. On the US version, it does say final 1.
Yep. So, not only do they have boss rush, they have a bunch of regular stages after that.
Yeah, the Bonk games are very challenging when it comes to the end game. It's like you think, hey, this isn't too bad a game, and then they just throw everything at you at the end. You want another volcano stage? Okay, here we go. So this is also a section that has several different routes. It's I often go a bottom route. Looks like they're going like meanly top route, but it really
I think they sort of fell down into the bottom route.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a big time difference. It's probably just whatever you're most comfortable with and whatever power-ups you feel like you might need. So.
All right, so it's very important to take that meat and go there because.
I am skip. Yeah, and I am going. Sorry.
The lava. You can't actually damage boost your way across the lava. I tried. It didn't work.
Yeah, so I Am went and took a little break there to get some power-ups. So he's probably just getting some stuff boosted up for the final encounters here. So you want to have really as many lives as you can to go into this final boss because it is a doozy. Definitely the hardest drool.
And we'll definitely be getting some of those because it's so unpredictable. I wish there was something better for it, but
I like to call this Drool's house, where we're just kind of like going through this house with all these giant like appliances and chairs and tables. It's very odd. And just Drool's kitchen with the stove on fire.
And then you're approaching on my favorite. I think.
Is it the Nightmare Emoji Baby?
Yes.
So they are actually basically on the same screen. Yes, Nightmare Emoji Baby! You can despawn Nightmare Emoji Baby. I never despawn
So
Nightmare
creepy.
Emoji Baby.
It's so creepy.
I love him. He is my child.
Scariest thing in the game. It's so scary. Yeah, they are basically in the same section. This might actually come down to...
Oh, LattMackey was going for the 4 hours that lets you fly, but unfortunately he got hit, so he can't get the extra life now. That's really unfortunate.
Wow, they are
so here's the most important skip in the game.
You have to kill that
most
fish.
important. Yeah. If you hold right and turbo on the, the attack button, you will skip that kissy fish. If you don't, you will get eaten.
This run very well may come down to who gets more power-ups or how well the boss fight goes. Really, ultimately, it's going to be how well the boss fight goes.
Speaking of kissy fish...
No, I Am... took the requisite kissy fish. You really don't want to do this. And so LattMackey is walking into the final area of the game before the boss.
And here's the only time in the game where the big power-up is actually helpful.
This is it.
What do you mean? LattMackey's been getting the big power-up constantly.
Well, I was just using that to manipulate RNG, okay, at that point.
So
with
you
the big power-up, you can do this wall bonk and skip a lot of the stage.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it without getting the big power-up.
No, you can't.
Oh,
I Am
is loading up on lives again.
Smart
He's
move.
not messing around, my boss.
I was trying to go for those first extra lives, so I didn't have to get them here, but
so
I will be doing the same.
Yeah, Lat should have the edge going into the boss fight, but like I said, this boss fight is really, really unpredictable, and you'll see why.
I'm actually concerned about only having 4 lives, but that's what tells you about this boss.
It's pretty rough. All right, so I am is at the part where you have to have the big power up.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh,
he fell down. Yeah, you can get it back.
I forgot it respawns.
So Latt's in the boss.
All right, I scared myself for no reason.
So Latt's in the boss here, and he's spinning on top of Drool here. But guess what? Drool has size-changing mechanics too, making for the world's most frustrating Drool fight.
I like it conceptually, but the hitboxes are just awful.
The hitboxes make absolutely no sense. You will constantly get hit, even if you think you're like right on top of it.
Sometimes it seems like you hit it seems like you hit Drool, but you don't, and it's really awful.
And Drool's already big, and now Drool gets to be even huger. So you get to see all the different sizes of Drool there. There's actually 4 different sizes.
Like, I love the concept behind this fight of the boss, like, oh, he's taking like what you've done the entire game and is using it too. But the hitbox is just awful.
Yeah,
so
especially
I do really like the music though.
Yeah, the medium-sized Drool seems to be the worst. Like the small one is like okay, but like the medium-sized Drool, you're just like constantly getting hit by. It seems like the big one, it's no problem. But yeah, so LattMackey's actually doing really well here. Like this could be a much harder fight.
Here we go, we got there. Okay.
And it looks like after these last hits, that is time for Latt.
That's nerve-wracking. It literally gives me a heart attack.
And they're both on this final fight, and it did look like it came down to like took a lot of safety power-ups, but they're right here on the same fight. This was like an incredible run, guys. Like
GG.
Thank you for everybody.
Sally Slug and GG. Well, soon to be GG to Gary Geek. Well, which is GG.
Team Gary Geek.
I don't blame Infinite for going those extra lives at the end. That's what I was trying to do as well, and I just missed it. So he went in a different place than I would. But it's like this last. It's tough to describe, but it's just because of those guessing where the hitbox is. Basically, it's just you feel like you're taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you really do, like, even I like want to make sure I get some extra lives before I go into this. I say even I just because I'm a current world record holder, but like these guys aren't too far off for my time either. So.
And John always goes for like the most riskiest strats that exist in the game. So know that him actually getting the extra lives, that's a big deal.
That's right. I almost always want to go into this fight with like 3 or 4 lives. And I'm just like, oh man, this is still like, I still can't do it damageless. It's just crazy.
And like you can see, like he's clearly bouncing off Drool, but for some reason Drool doesn't take damage all the time. It's really strange.
I believe these are the final hits for IM. He just needs like 1 or 2 more hits, and that's time.
GG.
Wow.
Man, very close. Not much difference between us. GG.
Yeah, this is great across 3 different games. It's like only a minute or 2 apart. That's amazing.
Thank you everyone for that great Bonk relay race commentary. Thank you RGL for holding this and for this great event.
Yeah, it was awesome that this was chosen. It was really a good highlight of the whole Bonk trilogy and all the runners that play it. This was great. I love this. This was so much fun.
Got to give a huge shout out because folks, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, but this is the first of its kind ever like this, a Bonk relay race as part of its first of its kind event. Turbofest has been the entire weekend. So the fact that RGL puts this on and allows us all to just share our passion with you, we can't thank them enough. This has been just so much fun, and to have so many people involved, it's really I wish I could describe it a little bit better, because just so thankful that we got a chance to do all of this. And this is an amazing way to end the whole thing. Memory, you did great. Johnny did great. Lisa, wonderful. Uber, wonderful. Infinite Mystery, wonderful. Just so great to see all of us come together and play some games we really like.
We have to say this right here. This game is for all you Bonk kids. Everybody watching.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
That's so
perfect way to end.
Anybody else wanna say thanks, Lisa Uber?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. This was definitely very fun. Same time next week, right?
Absolutely.
Sure,
and
why
to give
not?
you, I do want to, if you're interested at all in the Bonk at all, many of us, Lisa's grinding Bonk's Revenge right now. You can watch her runs. John, I think he'll ever give up the Bonk games. And when he streams, he's got his speed runs up there and is PBing all the time as well. So great runners to go follow. And Memory's task is, she's tasked more than just the Bonk game. So please do yourself a favor and check out the videos. They're wonderful.
And I'm willing to help pretty much anybody with the Bonk games as well. Like, ask me anything, and I'll tell you if I know it.
Mike just said 100% there'll be a Turbofest 2022. Mike, I'm telling you, okay, if you're calling it out now.
Who's
Alright.
playing the Airzone sequel?
Right.
We gotta get
Oh,
new
no.
Trivia 3 out here too.
Yeah, Uber's been grinding Turbografx 16 the last week or two. I mean, it's been great. Just seeing, it's really cool seeing all this stuff. This game is for all you Bonk kids.
I think that about does it for us, so we're gonna go to the finale.
Absolutely. Thanks.